What's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? Go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe. I got like 1 or 2 views, so just getting started, you know? So that gave me a little motivation. Yesterday was a little rough. I started the morning, anxiety, not feeling good. So then I went to my appointment, came back, and yeah, I got tired, took a nap. And then when I woke up, had a little bit of energy and thought about making a video, but it was already like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not trying to do this right now. So I just sat there, watched some podcasts or whatever, and probably fell asleep at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then I'm back up at fucking 6. Couldn't sleep, you know, I'm up. I got another doctor's appointment today. Go to the primary care, so I mean it's kind of a big deal because I've been dealing with like these issues for years, and basically I don't go to the doctor. I'm just like, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna do me. And like I got mucus, you know, like I can't really breathe, but I don't really get sick. So like, you know, this year, last year, like, you know, maybe I get a runny nose or like maybe it gets a little worse, but like I'm not fucking like laying in bed or anything, you know? So like I don't get the flu. I don't get fucked up with shit like that. And so like I'm like, man, I just want to take care of this issue though. So hopefully, you know, I'm gonna go today and I'm gonna be like, man, I got issues with my right shoulder still, sinuses, and my left leg. But I'm just trying to fucking get by, you know? So yesterday I took the dogs, I took my dog down the street to a big old grass field. It's not really a park, there's no swing sets or anything, but it's just an area where she can run. It's a lot bigger than the backyard. So I went out there and got her all tired out and stuff. And then this morning I woke up feeling a little anxious. So I'm like, all right, you know, I still got a few hours before my appointment, so I'm gonna take a hit. So I took a little hit, calmed down a little bit, but I can still kind of feel it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pop a pill too. So I took another clonazepam, and I'm like, all right, it's not too bad, but I can still feel it. So I'm like, let me go for a walk. So I took the dogs. I went over to the field, played with them for a little bit, got some video. I'm probably gonna throw it up or something, but taking the dogs for a walk. Come on, let's go. Leave it. Yeah, fight. Let me see. Good girl. I've been thinking I might as well just start taking videos of just random shit, you know, just documenting it. Cause I'm like, I could document what I eat, and it's like, you know, that's really fucking boring. But then looking back on it, you know, you could probably look back on it real quick and be like, that's your diet? Like, that's what you're fucking eating? Like, this is what you're missing out on. You should probably add this. Like, I feel like it'd be easier to restructure my diet, you know, if I saw what I was really eating. Because I know last night I cooked these biscuits and used the biscuit as a bun. Made a chicken patty. Made 2 chicken patties. So I had like 2 chicken patty sandwiches. It's just like, you know, coming from the freezer. I don't know what else I ate yesterday. I think I had something else. But oh yeah, I had some leftovers. I had like more frozen food. It was like some leftover frozen French fries that I heated up, and chicken strips and fish sticks. So I just ate the leftovers of that shit. But I got another appointment coming up. I'm gonna bounce in like half hour, but I figure, you know, this might help me calm down a little bit, talk about some shit. I was making some notes last night about what I want to talk about, because I want to throw out a new video. I didn't really do much yesterday. And when I get back from my appointment, I'm gonna talk about some of my goals, Alright, sorry about that, guys. My girl saw a cat across the street, and she coming back now. Leave it. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna pick this video up later, and I don't know, I think I might have a title for it, something about like my goals, dreams, aspirations, and inspirations, something like that. But I'm basically going to talk about, like, I guess their goals. Like, what would you, you know, where you're like, what you want to be when you grow up? And it's usually unrealistic. Like, I want to be an astronaut or some shit. Mine was fucking being in the NFL. I was like, yeah, I want to be in the NFL. But that shit was unrealistic. I was like, I didn't really play football that much, because they didn't have football at my middle school, or if they did, like, I don't know, it was really whack. I remember we played one game, and like, I don't know, like, I think it was just for fun, you know. But in high school, the first high school that I went to, then I got onto the football team, but I was really young, just lost my dad, like, I don't know, my mind space wasn't right and stuff. But I do remember, like, I had a buddy on the team, and so we'd fuck around, like throwing the ball, kicking the ball, whatever. And so I'd basically be punting it, right? So I had the ball, boom, and I punt that shit. And I got noticed for that. And so the coach was trying to get me in as like a kicker, but I just fucked up, because like, you know, I'm doing that, but that was just me like dressed like this, you know. But then I had to throw on the helmet and the pads and all that shit, and then he wanted me to try to kick a field goal. And like, I'm looking down, like, it's dark by the time this happens, like, it's kind of dark, you know, field lights are on, and I don't know, man. I just remember, like, we just going up trying to kick it, and like, I just never could connect, and we just kept doing it, and then finally he's just like, fuck it, you know. And so like, I never ended up, like, nothing ever happened from that, but I think I could have. Like, I got some strong legs, so I probably could have been a kicker, but maybe not, you know, a fucking quarterback or some shit. My dream, so that was basically that, and then I got kicked out of that school, and then the new high school I went to, they didn't have a football team, so I was like, fuck it, and then I got in the Army. And when I got out of the Army and I was going to community college, I tried out for the community college football team, you know. It wasn't going to be much, but I wasn't a fast runner, and that's what they based it on, because I was trying to go out for running back. I should have gone out for fullback, you know, or some shit, but honestly, like, I should have went for a linebacker or something like that. But, you know, you basically just do what you want at that time. And so, like, I was dead set on, I was like, man, I could be like a quarterback or QB or something. Like, you want to be that playmaker, right? And the playmaker, you know, when you're young, you're thinking throwing up points, and people see you score, and you're like, yeah, I'm winning this game. But you don't see the defense side. Like, as I've grown older, I've learned that the defense is a big part of it, you know? Like, you got to shut them down to allow your offense an opportunity to come back and try to score some points. And so if your offense isn't doing that good, but, you know, maybe they get 20 yards down the field, and then you can punt that shit, back them up into within the 10-yard line, and then you guys come out on defense just hard, and like I don't know, maybe you bring them back 2 yards, and like it's like fourth and like -2, fourth and 12, and like now they're at their 8-yard line. So you're just barely pushing, but that helped them out. And so when they punt, it's gonna come like 50-yard line, and so the next push, hopefully you get within field goal range. And so like I feel like defense is a big deal, and like it's definitely not underrated, but it's underrated. Like I think in kids' minds, like they're probably not thinking about that shit. I know I wasn't, and I remember like I was in the line, and I had to do like the 40-yard sprint or 40-yard dash or whatever, and it's like not looking good at the time. And I remember one of the, they have multiple coaches. One of the coaches just like telling me I should be going over on defense, but I didn't. And I'm like, I wonder if I did, if things would be different. But at the same time, as I grown up, I realized how brutal that sport is, man. You fucking, and you're like hitting people, like you hitting like your shoulders, like you tweaking your muscles and stuff. Like a lot of those guys get like, I don't know if it's traumatic brain injury or whatever it's called, but those guys get fucked up. So I mean, maybe it was a blessing in disguise, but that was kind of like my first thing. I was like, yeah, I want to be in the NFL. But that shit didn't happen. I did the Army, and then that didn't really work out. I had some medical issues, and then I got out. And I kind of missed it, like I had a buddy who was in the reserves, and so he only went away like one week in a month, or however that shit works, right? It's like 1 week in a month, and then like 2 weeks out of the year, something like that. And eventually, I don't know, like 1 or 2 years in, he got picked up as a contractor, and so then he went over to Iraq as a contractor, and that shit was legit because he was making bank. Like he said, he was making 6 figures, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm over here doing like practically the same shit. Like what he was doing, he was just basically manning a camera. I'm like, damn, bro, like don't mean that 6 figures to like record some shit, But basically, like on our base, you had this like a blimp, but it wasn't a real blimp. It was like a balloon, and that balloon goes up, and then there's a camera on it, and so then you can see 360 degrees and stuff because it's like 100 feet in the air or some shit. And that's how that shit works, There's a camera fucking looking around, and so I guess he's controlling that shit, and he's like, hey, there's something going on here. You might want to check it out. Oh, hey, this just happened. Like whatever, right? But that's all you're doing, and I'm like, damn, bro, like I wasn't doing that, but I was in a room looking at documents and like reading like sworn statements and shit, and being like, oh, this is a name that I've seen multiple times, like, and then you're basically trying to build the cell structure, and you're like, who's the leader, who's the financer, who's the fucking minions, like shit like that, and you're trying to figure out who to target. And then at the same time, you're also keeping track of all the just all the shit that happened like in your areas, like you keep track of the small arms fire and like the IEDs and IFP or whatever, EFPs, and I don't know, shit like that, right? You're just keeping track of all the bad shit, and then you can kind of get a sense like, damn, a lot of shit's happening on this route, on this road, this specific area of that road. Maybe you go around, and that was one thing. And then briefings, we had to brief like all the commanders and shit. So you'd have like the battalion commander, he's like the big head honcho. God, I forget his name, but there was some like controversy going on or some shit after I got out. I heard about some shit, or maybe it was before. I think he was the guy that he was the commander in charge when I think Pat Tillman like got shot in the back, and they were saying it was like, I don't know the details, right? And I don't remember the guy's name. Maybe I'll figure it out at some point, but yeah, I never had a problem with the guy. He was cool, and I didn't really talk to him, but he was nice to me. And I remember talking to him one time because, like, I'm briefing him and stuff, so I see him. He's always coming into the I don't know what you want to call it, because we had like all the shops together. We had the S2 shop, the S3 shop, the S6 shop, like all that shit was in one building, because in Iraq, you know, you got to make do with what space you have. And anyway, you know, he's always coming in there. And when I get back from leave and they're like, yo, we're going to make you pay $100,000 for your surgery, you know, you broke your wrist, like being stupid, you didn't have your motorcycle endorsement, blah, 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 you know. I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. So I talked to him and I was like, dude, this is what they're telling me. Like, this is what they're trying to like make like put me through, you know. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. And like, so that was fucking huge. Like, that was huge. So I think I'm cool with him, you know. But yeah, so back to the point, you know, we're like briefing these people, and so he's just there kind of seeing what's up. But then you have all the company commanders, and I was in charge of Charlie Company. Like, I wasn't the commander, you know, but there was like the CEO, and he would come to the briefings, and then he's like trying to get an update from me, like, I'm in charge of your area of operation. Tell me what's going down, you know. Tell me what attacks have happened, and tell me who to go after, or what, like, you know, shit like that. So I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like sitting in a building, kind of doing similar work, but I'm getting, I don't know, $3,000 a month. So like $30,000 to $40,000 a year. He's getting like 3 times that. I'm like, fuck, dude. But I don't know. That was a lot of money back then, because, you know, like I said, I was in high school. And I worked at Sonic making like $8 an hour or some shit. That was my first job ever. And no, dude, I think it was like $6 an hour. Yeah, because I talk about this other job that I did when I was working security, but that was after the Army. So the only job that I had before the Army was at Sonic. And that was horrible. I was a car hop for 6 months, 6 months, 9 months, something like that. You get paid like $6 an hour. You get some tips, but you know, it is what it is. So I did that, and that's like, fuck, where was I going with this? I'm like, shit, that's my only experience. And I was talking about Iraq. Oh, and I was talking about like the briefings and the shit that I did, and then how he's getting paid so much more than me. Like, fuck, bro. I even had him trying to hook me up with a job when I got out, and so I sent my information over to them. They never got back to me. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to pause this, I guess. Probably go to my appointment, come back, talk about some more shit. So catch y'all later. Alright, guys, about to bounce. I'm not as nervous as I was yesterday, so that's cool. I still kind of feel it though, because it's like, man, I've been in the primary care in so long. I got a lot of weight on this. What's up, guys? I'm back. It wasn't too bad. Found out I lost some weight. Wasn't trying to, you know, but just don't eat that much. 186 pounds. 6 foot, 186 pounds. Like, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good, because usually I'm around like 190, 200, something like that. And back when I was working out in college and hiking Camelback all the time and looking my best, I was probably about 175. So like 170, 175 is my lightest. So I'm pretty close. And I'm not even trying. I'm not even working out. So that's cool. Let's see. So I went to the doctor, primary care. Yeah, I mean, everything was fine as far as like my vitals. I think my blood pressure was 121 over like 86 or something, like 80 something, 83, something like that. So it's pretty close. And then temperature 98.2 or something like that. And then she was a little worried about my heart rate because it was like 100 and something. I want to say like 105 or some shit. But I'm like, that's probably just because I got off the bike. I was riding. And then I'm like, maybe it's the anxiety. I don't know, you know? But, so that was that. And then I go talk to the doctor. And I'm basically like, you know, these are my issues. So I got like my left leg, my left hip, whatever. That shit hurts. And talk to her. And basically the solution is I'm going to try to go to physical therapy. See if I can't get some improvement from that. And then like my right shoulder, I feel like like I said before, I feel like that's from my motorcycle accident. So that's just not going to heal. Like, it's going to take forever, you know? It's been 10 years and it's still healing. So there's really not a whole lot that you could do for that. But since I can't get back into the chiropractor, I was like, well, can you give me another consult for the acupuncture? Because at this point, I'm ready to take whatever, you know? Like, you can't give me the chiropractor, well then, give me acupuncture. Give me physical therapy. But the thing is, like, physical therapy will probably work for my leg because that's a new injury. Like, it's getting better as I'm stretching it, massaging, drinking water, shit like that. But it still kind of hurts. Like, I still have issues. Yesterday, I took the dogs for a little walk, and this morning I took the dogs for a walk, and I could kind of feel it. I didn't go too far, half mile, but I could feel it. So I'm just like, damn, you know, I want this to be over with. But like, as far as my shoulder goes, there's probably not a whole lot they could do with physical therapy. So I'm like, I guess I just got to wait till next year when they give me more chiropractic visits because they only give you 12 a year, and I already went through my 12. So I'm like, fuck, man. And I'm not trying to pay for that shit because I'm not trying to drop 40, 50 bucks on the chiropractor. Because, like, that's how much it costs. You know, you go to get a massage, and I'm going to pay, like, 40 bucks an hour, 60 for an hour and a half, and that's for license. But with that, I'm like, you're actually doing shit, you know? Like, you're manipulating my muscles, and you're moving, like, the fluids around and stuff, you know? So I would so much rather get a massage than go to the chiropractor if I had to personally pay myself. But since they're paying, I'm like, all right, I'll go to the chiropractor. Now I gotta wait 3 more months. So I'm probably gonna drop some money on some massages soon, but it's just hard for me to be like, all right, let me drop 300, 350, whatever. But I think I'm gonna have to do it because I need to get better. So there's not much they could do with that, right? And then let's see, my sinuses. Oh man, that's the fucking issue. The end of 2015, I went to go see my sister. We went out to Kentucky, I think that's where she was living. And so we go out there, and that's when I was like having issues, and I was like, oh man, this sucks. So when I came back in January 2016, that's when I went in, and I was like, man, I can't breathe, having issues, talked to them, and then didn't really get too far, you know, I tried some stuff, and then probably around like May, something like that, I go to see the primary care, and she's like this nurse practitioner who's like, oh, I can't give you a referral to the ENT because I think it's allergies, and you gotta at least like take this trial or whatever. So basically I did like the allergy medicine for 30 days, and I was keeping track of it and everything, keeping a log, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this isn't helping. I'm like, fuck, this isn't helping. Yeah, I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but whatever. So I'm like, this isn't helping. But then when I go to schedule again, I don't know, like July, like I waited at least a month, but I think I waited like 2 or 3 months, something like that. But then I tried to go back and schedule an appointment, and that person had left the clinic, and so they transferred me to a new primary care, which was a physician assistant. But that was like on the other side of town, so I'm like, fuck, I gotta drive farther to go see this person. But whatever, so I go see this person, and her solution for my sinus issue. So let me put these fucking acupuncture bullshit things in my ear, like these little tiny, like, I don't know, they look like earrings. Like boom, 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 just going up my whole ear. I had like 10, 15 on each side. Then I'm fucking rocking these earrings at ASU, you know, and I'm like, they ain't doing shit. And so that was like, you know, coming towards the end of 15. That's when I was coming up on graduating and stuff. And like, I took them out and I was like, this shit ain't doing anything, you know, fuck it. And then I kind of like lost interest, or I kind of gave up or something. And then in December, I think, I think that's when it was. I asked to get transferred to someone else. I was like, I want a doctor, none of this fucking PA, nurse practitioner bullshit, you know? And so they're trying to like give me someone, and I want to say, oh yeah, so that was 16, right? Because I said like 15, that shit started in 16. So towards the end of 16, I'm already graduated, right? So towards the end of 16, this shit's going down. But this is when I wasn't really working. Like, I had some bullshit jobs, and there were contracts. They let you go, you get another contract. It was just rough, and I was getting depressed, not really doing much. I just gave up, pretty much just said fuck it. And that's the end of 16. And then I don't know. I might have waited a year or something like that till 17. I think that's what it was. And then like last year, in the end of 2017, I requested a new doctor. I was like, I want a doctor. None of this fucking bullshit, you know. And so then they give me one, but then I couldn't get in. It was like playing folding tag, and it was just ridiculous. But I finally got in today. And I don't know where the fuck I was going with this story, but. Oh yeah, I was talking about my sinuses. Damn, I can't even fucking breathe, man. I'm like, yeah, my sinuses are like, you know, they try to fucking give me allergy medicine, and they try to do those acupunctures. And then in between that time, I went to my nephrologist, which is kidney doctor, and she had ordered a CT of my sinuses, and so there was like some evidence or whatever right there. Like, I don't remember what it said, but when I was at the doctor right now, I told her about it, and she brought it up in the computer, and she's reading it, and she said some shit, and basically, like, what I hear is like possible polyp, you know. And so I'm like, you know, fuck, if there's like a possible polyp up in there, then that explains everything, you know. But it sucks, man. I can't fucking breathe. So with her, she's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule another CT scan. I guess without contrast. She's talking about I have kidney issues, so she didn't know if she wanted to use contrast. So I don't know. Part of me is like, well, fuck, use contrast, like, if you're not gonna be able to see shit, you know. But I don't know. So I'm supposed to be getting a call, getting the CT scheduled, and then it's gonna be updated. They're gonna see what's up. And then she can give me a referral to ENT. And so I'm like, hell yeah, like physical therapy for my leg, which is giving me a lot of issues. And then a referral to ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, because I can't fucking breathe. So like those two things are like my biggest issues. And then I also told her like my shoulder, but you know, there's nothing they could do. And so I was trying to get referrals to like chiropractor, but there's nothing they could do because it's only 12 and 12 months, so I gotta wait. And I was like, well, fuck it, give me acupuncture again. So hopefully, I think she's gonna give me a referral to acupuncture. And then I was talking about pain management, and that shit's so fucking whack. I guess it's universal. She said it's not VA. It's like U.S. wide or nationwide or worldwide. I forget. But basically, they're not prescribing narcotics unless it has to do with cancer or something like that. And so I'm like, well, fuck, like, because when I got out, they were giving me Vicodin, And like I would take it sometimes, but usually my script would run out, and then I had to get it renewed. But then it gets run out, and then I don't get it renewed. And like it gets run out, and I don't get it renewed because of like the new policy changes or something. But it just sucks. And I'm like, well, what about like a muscle relaxer? It's like, I guess that's fucking a narcotic too. It's like, god damn, dude, like help me out. Like she even, I don't remember what she said, but because I mentioned that I smoked, she's like, how much you smoke? And I kind of laughed. I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to tell. She's like, well, like once or twice a week. And I'm like, nah, like daily. And she's like, once or twice a day. And I was like, nah, I mean, like lately I've been trying to quit, but cut back. But definitely at least like 10, 12 times a day. She's like, what the fuck? And like, she's not even realizing that that's not like, in her mind, it's just taking like a little hit of weed. But for me, I'm taking a dab. So that's like smashing that bowl, load another one, smashing that bowl, Probably fucking load another bowl, smash that. Basically, I'm doing all these dabs, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I need to cut back. So I'm trying to cut back, but she mentioned something about, like when you talk about like you doing that and stuff, like they're not going to want to give you drugs because you're already taking drugs. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking taking these drugs because you're not giving me drugs, and I'm in pain, like I have sleep issues, anxiety issues, like I just got all this stuff, And then she's talking about this medicine that I have, like, so I went to the psychiatrist, and I forget, he gave me one thing, some shit, but I never took it. It was supposed to be for like sleep or something, and then he gave me something else, and that's for like the anxiety, and that was the clonazepam. And then I found out from her, she's like, yeah, like you shouldn't even be taking that on the regular, because I told her, I was like, I had anxiety yesterday, so I puked, and like I took the pill, and then today I took a pill, so I'm gonna try to start taking more regularly. And she's just like, I don't think that's a good idea, like that's not one of those things that you should be taking regularly. And she told me to take the other one. I forget what it's called. But I'm like, so I might have to try that out. But pretty much I'm fucking making a little progress. They took some fucking blood. Guess I take this shit off now. Some of that motherfucking blood. Yeah, so they took blood. I'll get the results of that, see what's up. I'm probably pretty healthy. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not top health, but I should be all right. And then I get that CT and hopefully get that referral to ENT and get my sinuses cleared out, because if I can breathe, that'll be huge. And then if I could quit smoking, that'll be big too. And then my legs give me a lot of issues. And if I can fix that, then all I really got to do is focus on my right side. So, I mean, yeah, that's that. Oh yeah, and then so on the way back, I'm just cruising, and we're at a light, and it was stupid. Like, I'm in the right lane, and then there's a middle lane and a left lane. The middle traffic starts going, but I wasn't in the middle lane because it was backed up. There was probably like 2 or 3 cars. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the shorter one. Fucking right lane's not going. And so I get over to the left lane, and the right lane starts going, but I realized like there was a car in front of me, and then there was a car in front of them. I think it was like a a black Lexus or BMW. I don't know, something like that. It was like one of the nicer ones. But they weren't going. They weren't paying attention and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So like, then I start going to the middle lane, and I get to the point where I can get in front of her, and so I get in front of her. It was a girl driving. I get in front of her, flip her off, and just take off. And I'm just cruising, and then she finally gets up to speed or whatever, and then there's a red light that comes up, and so there's a bus in the right lane, so I'm like, I'm gonna get to the left, even though there's like 1 or 2 extra cars. And then I'm like looking back as she's coming up, and I flip her off, and then she flips me off, and I'm like, well, fuck you, pay attention, bitch, And then that was it. Oh yeah, and then I saw this I saw this guy. He was driving a Camaro, black Camaro. I think it was black, maybe gray, something like that, like a dark color Camaro. And yeah, so he's in the middle lane. I was in the right lane. He was like thinking like, oh yeah, that's cool. So he kind of like took off, and I saw he had a radar detector. So I'm like, this guy, he likes to speed, right? He likes to have a little bit of fun. And I was like, yeah, nice car. And then like I took off, and then there was one point where I just like, I floored it, right? Like we take off at the light, and I'm in first gear just cruising, and then he cruises, and then I just punch it, and I redline that shit or whatever, right? I'm doing like 70, 100. And then it was like real quick, quarter mile, half mile, like run, you know? And then I'm like, all right, cool. Let me like chill off. Like it was just a little fun, right? And then I chill off, and then he finally catches up. And then we get to the next light, and now he's in the right lane, and I'm in the middle. And he was just like, yeah, he's talking about like fast bike or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, you got a nice car. And he's like, yeah, but it's not fast. Like it's not fast enough. That's why I want to get a bike, something like that. And then he starts talking about how he fucked his car up. And I see like on the front driver's side on the bumper, it's kind of messed up. And he's like, yeah, I ran into the garage. And he's like, yeah, I ran into the garage 3 times. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, damn, dude, 3 times? Like, I don't know, maybe you need a bike. Because, like, I can understand if you had a big-ass truck and you run into something. But if you run into something 3 times in your own garage, like, I mean, come on, you got to learn from that shit, right? I don't know, I can't be hating because now, like, I'm going to run into some shit or something. But, yeah, I was like, damn, you run into your own garage 3 times? Fuck, man, that's kind of crazy. But, yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. That's pretty much my health and stuff, where I'm at. And then, like, she's, like, you know, checking my shoulder, and she's, like, trying to tell me that she thinks it's my posture, and that, you know, I'm sitting at the desk and stuff, and that's what's causing it. And I'm like, yeah, like, maybe that's, you know, that's not helping that like, holding pattern or sitting in a certain way or whatever, but there's definitely residual injuries or bullshit happening from the motorcycle attack, or not attack, motorcycle accident. Imagine that shit, a fucking motorcycle attack you. You know, it's like 100 years in the future and like machines take over. Damn. That bike fuck you up. It's not doing a wheelie, just come straight at you. Bah, knock you down, run you over. Fuck that, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the fuck I'm not recovered 10 years later. I'm curious, man. It's like, anybody else, like, break their wrist, break their arm, like some shit like that, and they can still feel it 10 years later? Like, I can feel it. Look at that. And I can't do that on this side. Like, I get a little or whatever, right? But it's all on that side. Then when I have long hair, I can kind of like pull it. I don't know if I talked about this before either, but I remember years ago, after that shit happened, like, this jaw popped when I was eating something, and I couldn't open my mouth. I had a hard time chewing stuff. I go to the doctor, and they're like, nah, like, your jaw's not popped out of place or anything. But basically what happened in my mind is, like, I'm like this, right? And then it, like, pulls down. And that was the pop. And, like, now I'm trying to get it to stretch out, get it back up to where it was. But it's just, it's weird. Like, I can feel it, like, no joke, like, right here, it's like, you're like, okay, it's almost even. Quiet. It's almost even, but it's not quite even. Go lay down. Go lay down. It's almost even, but it's not quite even. And I can feel like a difference in my nose, like a little bit. There's a little extra space, so like it has to like build up. I don't know, like maybe some cartilage, or maybe like this just needs to go higher, and then I don't know, it's just weird, right? Like it feels a little bit different. And this, like, years ago when I did that, this side, had nothing, I would flex and you could see like these things over here, and then this side was just fucking like nothing. And now I'm starting to get that definition back, and I'm starting to like this shit right here going up. And with my ears, I can tell, like, I put an earplug in here, and I put an earplug in here, and this one's kind of like going down or whatever. It's just, it's not the same when I do that. I don't know. It's just so fucking crazy. It's like, there's some shit wrong. And I don't know how I'm not healed, because, like, I'm fucking, it's my body, man. Like, I'm paying attention, and I'm trying to do whatever I think needs to be done to get it back to where it needs to be. It's like, fuck, man. So I made a Patreon. It's a little difficult because I'm like, I don't know what to do as far as like all the prizes or whatever. I have like a $1, $5, $20, $50, $100. But I just broke it down, right? And I'm like, the $1 is like the cheapest, right? Like, you know, you donate $1, cool, I appreciate that. And you know, it's just $1, so I figured like the easiest thing would be like a shout out, like, hey, I appreciate. And I broke it down to like different like the bottom one, the $1, I have it called my swag tier, because you know that's that nasty, like I smoked swag probably like twice in my life, just because everyone else was like in the group and somebody had it and everyone's passing it around. I'm like, okay, I'll take like a little hit, but I'm like, that shit's fucking disgusting. Like, bro, how do you even smoke that shit? So I'm like, you know, that $1 tier, that's that swag, you know, that's that fucking, it's that brown, you know, it's got seeds in it, it's like, it's got sticks, it stems, it's like, what the fuck you smoking on, you know? But anyway, that's that $1 tier. And right now I'm like, I can offer you like a shout out, you know, somebody that donates $1, I'll be like, hey, you know, I appreciate, shout out to my swag tier, some shit like that, right? And then I'm like, you know, you could donate $1, but like the next like logical one for me would be $5. I've seen people have like $2 and $3, like, you know, you could start at $2 and have $5 or something, or, but I'm like, there's no sense in me having like 1, 2, 3, like shit like that. So I have 1, and I was thinking maybe I put it at 2 because, I don't know, it's $1, you know, but right now it's at 1, and then 5 is the next one, and 5 is my bottom shelf tier. And so you get a shout out, and then I think I also said that I'm gonna give you credits, so I'll put your name in the credits after the video or something like that. I haven't figured it out yet, but that's where I'm going with that. And then my 3rd tier, which is the $20, I'm like, that's top shelf. That's the top shelf. That's that good, you know? But what's the extra? So you get those 2 things, and then you get something else too, which I was thinking about making certain videos just for the Patreon members. Like, I'll upload at least 1 or 2 videos a week or a month or whatever, and then you can see those videos when other people on YouTube, they're not going to see it. So it's kind of like exclusive content. So I'm like, you know, if you're part of my top shelf tier, then maybe you'll get access to some videos, you know, some videos that someone else doesn't have access to. So I got that, right? $20. So the way I broke it down is like $1, then I'm like, you know, $5, because, you know, you could donate 5 times, or you could just donate $5. And then I'm like, $5, and I'm like, it doesn't really seem logical to do 10, because you could just do 5 twice. So I'm like, let me do 20. That's why I did 20. And then from 20, the next logical one, I was like 50, because otherwise you're doing 20 2.5 times. So I did 50, and on 50, I call that the concentrate tier, because that's the shit that I fuck with. I fuck with that concentrate. And on that one, basically you get everything, right? You know, you get the shout out, you get the credit, or you know, you get your name put in there and get some credit. You get the access to those videos for the Patreon members, and then you also can request specific topics, specific titles, or not titles, I guess, whatever, like topics, you know, like specific things that you want to hear about, or maybe like I already said some shit and you're like, I want you to elaborate on that story or something, or maybe like, hey, I want you to talk about this, like, you know, like some controversial topic or something. Like, you know, I'm gonna take your feedback, I'm gonna take your advice, and like I'm gonna try to make videos based on whatever you say. And so at that 50, that concentrate tier, that's where it's at. Because I mean, that's gonna take a lot of work, right? You're like, hey, can you make a video on your thoughts and blah blah blah, like what you think about, like, let's say abortion, right? That's really controversial. I just saw some shit in the news about, I don't remember the state. I mean, I'm not trying to look into it, but there was some state that shut down all the abortion clinics or some shit, and all they had was one fucking clinic in the entire state. I remember seeing that shit, and I'm like, damn, dude. But anyways, you know, you name something like that, you're like, hey, talk about abortions. Well, then I gotta put together that video, and you know, it's probably gonna be a long video, so it's gonna be effort. I'm gonna be putting in effort. So if there's multiple people requesting shit, it's just gonna take a while. And even if I just get like one or two, that's still gonna take a while. So I don't know, you know, that's that concentrate. You know, I gotta do something for you, because $50, that shit's big money. You know, you drop it down, big money. $20, like that's like 2 drinks at the club, like whatever. But $50, that's some real shit. And then on that $100 level, because they suggest you have like 1 through 5, so I'm like, all right, that's my 5th level. And my 5th level, $100 level, is that fucking raw distillate, baby. Yeah. That fucking raw distillate, because that's that top of the top, man. That's that cream of the crop, that peak that you can't peak anymore, man. That one, I'm kind of at a loss, because I got everything else, right? And then I'm like, fuck, what else can I offer them? And so right now I'm trying to figure out what to offer them. I have no idea. Because I'm like, the shout outs, the credits, like I can do that. And then making specific videos and making Patreon specific videos. Okay, but then what's that other perk that I can do? You know, like you throwing down $100, that shit ain't no joke. So it's like, man, I kind of wish I had some merchandise or something, but maybe I'll get there at some point. But I'm like, fuck, I don't know what people want, you know? Like, if you were to donate that much, like, what would you like to see, you know? It's like, it's a lot of money. Oh yeah, then I was checking out GoFundMe too. And, I don't know, it's crazy because I see all these stories, and like, I've been watching Theo Vaughn's podcast, and like one of his that he linked to was this kid with, he's not even a kid, he's like 30 or something, but this guy with cystic fibrosis, he needs 2 new lungs, and so he's like raising that shit, money for that. And then I went and checked out all these other ones, and I don't know, it's just crazy, you know? It's like these people in the hospital, or like this person lost a loved one, or something like that, right? And I have a hard time like asking people for help or just asking people for money. I'm like, man, you give me a handout, like I'm not cool with that. But I'm kind of struggling, so, and I'm like, I'm putting this content out, so fuck it, you know, like let me just try it, you know, let me see how it goes. And so I got the Patreon, which the Patreon is a little different, because the GoFundMe, I haven't really looked into it that much, but it's like you kind of get something set up, and then I don't think you really have to add to it or anything. It's just people donating money. And so I was thinking about, they say, oh, you put like $1,000, like that's what they suggest. And I was like, okay, you know, I could try it out, put like $1,000 one. But I was like, fuck it, go hard or go home, right? So I put it to 100,000. Because I was calculating, I'm like, all right, you know, you pay $300 for the massage, let's say 5, right? Let's say for 1 month, that's $3,600 over the year if you were to go 5 times in a month. And let's say you go every other week, so you're only going 2 in a month. So you're doing 26 a year, and then 26 divided by 5 is like 5. So you're buying 5 of those packages at $300, which is $1,500. And then if you wanted to add a tip, that's like $60, you know? So that's another $300, so 18. So that's like almost $2,000. So I'm like, a year worth of massages, man. It's like $1,000 didn't cover that. And I feel like I need to get massages, chiropractor, and I don't know, other shit too. I'm like, maybe I could go to some specialist or something, but I'm gonna have to go throw this video up. I'm not sure if I'm gonna add more to this. I had this list of another video I want to talk about. So I think I'm probably just going to end it here. Yeah, so that's how my appointment went, and basically that's how my page is going so far. And I'm trying to get this shit up off the ground, trying to get this Patreon up and running, trying to get a GoFundMe up and running. Not easy, but you know, I appreciate, like, I know, like, it's not much, but I created these videos, and I have multiple videos that are long, like hours. Then I have a couple short clips, and I had like 1 or 2 views of that. So that gave me a little bit of motivation. So I appreciate it if you checking me out. If you give me a like, you subscribe, I appreciate it. You know, I don't think I have any likes, any subscribers, but if you do, go ahead and help me out, man. I appreciate it. All right, catch y'all later.